What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to talk about some big catalysts coming up for the markets for today, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Mumu link. You deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. You deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. This offer ends very soon in just a couple of weeks, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, for the market, I just wanted to mention that right now the market is gapping up. It's possibly trying to push a little bit higher, but I just want to give you guys a warning about the fact that we have this gap to fill below on SPY, on Aapl, and many others. And we have a big catalyst coming out, which is going to be Apple's big launch event. So I want to talk about all of that in a lot more detail. So the first thing worth mentioning is that today is Monday, September 9th, 2024. At 10 o'clock a.m., we have the wholesale inventories report coming out. So look for some volatility at this time. And then we have consumer inflationary expectations at 11 o'clock a.m., which is all very minor data, might not cause anything too crazy. There might be a little bit of volatility at 11:30 a.m., however, because of the 3 and 6 month bill auctions. So that's it for data. That's going to cause a little bit of volatility. And then the main thing that's going to cause a bigger move is probably going to be this Aapl event for today. Apple is going to be holding its annual fall iPhone-centric event on Monday, September 9th, which is today, at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, which is also the same as 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those who are interested, they're going to be introducing new devices on the horizon from the new iPhone 16 models, refreshes for the Apple Watches, new AirPods 4, and very, very cool products. Now, it's awesome to see this, and sometimes Apple does kind of push approaching this event. Even if Apple does get a little push and the market does try to hold up in, approaching this, what tends to happen is once the event starts, once it's like done with, Apple does have a tendency of selling off after these big events. That is what tends to happen historically, and that could lead to a sell off in the markets after these big events end up coming out. So I think it's awesome that they're launching these products. It's very, very bullish news for its long term. But for the short term, what tends to happen is we like to buy the rumors, sell the news, pump and dump approaching these events. And there's a high probability of that happening again because that's what's happened in the past. I also want to note to everyone that the market's looking for a rebound right now. Yes, we could attempt to start off that way, but then things could go south as we have gaps to fill below. So I wouldn't turn too confident. So as far as SPY goes to start us off, we're going to be looking at some very, very important levels. We have this support to watch from this 544 area, not to mention 545 is our resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 547, not to mention 550 above that. If we end up losing support here at the 542.75 area, we're easily going to come down to fill this gap, in my opinion, all the way down to at least 540. I think we could revisit the 530s if we get that kind of rejection. But as of right now, the market's going to try to push a little higher. We could hold up and consolidate, and then the Apple launch event could be the catalyst that brings us back down. So be careful, guys. I want to give you guys a warning about this. For Nvda, we're attempting to rebound right over here. This could try to push a little bit higher. We're going to be looking for 106 as our resistance, and then 108. And then we have the support to watch for around this 104 area. If 104 fails us, it could kind of pump and dump again. Then we could be tipping back down towards 99 over time if this move ends up failing. But for now, we're just completely range bound. We have 104 as our supports, 108 and 110 as our resistance zone. We'll see if we continue to maintain this structure, but I just want to say there's a chance that we could pump and dump. So be very mindful of that. For yes, we're trying to rebound right here. We're looking for basically 54.60 as resistance, not to mention 54.80. We also have this main support to watch for around 54.25. I think we could attempt to rebound a bit, then come back down. So be careful with ES. It is looking a little bullish right now, so there might be an attempt to push higher. But like I said before, the move may not last as we get closer to about 54.80, if not just under 5,500. This zone right here might be a tough resistance. So watch and see if we rally a little bit higher into this before we see a move back down. So just be very, very careful. We'll see what the Apple event leads to. Bitcoin's trying to rebound right here. We're looking for 55,600 as our resistance. Could push a little bit higher to build this imbalance. I could be looking for this 56,000 area, but then watch and see if we could hold above our 50 EMA or not. For a Tesla, I could see this attempt to rebound just a bit, but we have that big gap to fill below. We had this yellow trend line as our support. We were riding this up, and we did bounce off of it again. However, there's this big gap, so I do presume Tesla will come back down to the 211s to fill that gap. we could push a little higher to about the 20 EMA at 217. We came very close to it already. If we could break that, we're looking for a move closer to 220. If we don't break this, there could be a move back down towards that gap fill. So we'll have to see what the move ends up being. So you want to be very patient, very conscious of that. So I think we could rebound and eventually come back down. So watch and see if that ends up being the move. And we'll be very patient nonetheless. For NQ, we're attempting to rebound on the 4-hour time frame. If we manage to break past 18,600, we're going to be looking for this imbalance to fill up over here. If we establish a lower high, we could reject and start dipping lower. So we'll see. I think for now we do have potential to try to fill this imbalance, but then, like I said before, NQ and QQQ are not looking as strong as they have in the past. The QQQ is kind of lackluster as well. We're barely only at like 453, which is not that far away from our lows from Friday. So I think we could attempt to go a little higher, but then I presume Aapl will drag us back down to this gap towards 448. We could even come back down. So I'm not liking the QQQ setup as much. We're looking kind of weaker. Aapl is just consolidating right here. It could just consolidate. We have our support at our 200 EMA currently at 219, and then our 50 and 20 EMAs are at 222.39, not to mention 223.65. Those can be resistance levels. I think we just kind of shop around here for some time. Maybe it tries to push a little higher, consolidates a little bit, and then once the event starts, we might see Aapl start to sell off, and that could lead to a big move in the market. So get ready for that. Be very, very mindful that that's what tends to happen historically. So we'll see if we end up losing 219. And by the way, if Aapl does lose 219, I'm going to be basically looking for the mid 210s to be coming. So the mid 210s are like 215, 217, like around that range. And then if that does not hold, then 210 flat could be coming. I'm not going to count on that big of a drop, but I just want to say that it is possible we do revisit the 210s if that move ends up failing. So just want to call that out one more time. For the IWM, we're looking a little bit weaker right now. We're going to be watching to see if 208 holds. If this does hold, we're looking for the 210s. If it does not hold, we're going to be coming back down to 206. I'll be watching that very carefully. For Coinbase, we're kind of dipping right now. We have a gap to fill as well below. For now, it could rebound to about the 155 area, but then we'll see if we reject off that. One of these resistance levels, whether it's 155 or 162, one of these two might cause a rejection and a move back down to fill our gap at 148. So it might see a temporary push to at least 155. Very close to that before he comes back down. Amazon's attempting to rebound. Looks a little bullish here. We're going to be looking at our key EMAs around the 174s, but then like I said about my Amazon projection before, we have a gap to fill below, and we have this inverse cup and handle. So if it does rally a little bit, there could be a move back down to fill that gap. So don't be too bullish. The inverse cup and handle is still there. Meta pumped and dumped, pumped and dumped, pumped and dumped many, many times. It's trying to rebound right now. So it could try to push a little bit, sure. But we're going to be looking at 507 as resistance. If it does break this, we could get closer to 510. But then, like I said before, every time we pumped, we dumped historically for the last couple of weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a little rebound only to get a rejection and move back down to this gap fill. So I'm not too confident this move is going to last. Microsoft may do the same thing. We could pump a little bit only to come back down to fill this gap around 402. So watch for that as well. Followed by Google as well. I think Google is looking bearish. We're rejecting every time we hit this 20 EMA. We could get closer to 155, but then I do see rejection potential and a move coming to about 150 soon. So 150 is likely coming soon. We'll see if we rebound first before that move comes. So watch for that as well. Anyways, that's pretty much it for my video. So get ready for Apple's event. It's going to be at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, which is the same thing as 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get ready. The market does have a tendency of selling off during Apple events when they start. We could start off on a strong note, but the market may end up with a potential move to fill our gaps below. So be prepared for that. Be very conscious of that. And with that being said, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.